Hey everyone, Mr. Newman here, and today we're going to learn about how to use polynomials when finding the area of rectangles. So real quick, how many blank squares are there below? You notice the sides are 4 and 6, and if you count quickly, well, don't count them, you multiply, right? 24. So the formula for area, just to remind you, length times width equals the area of any rectangle. We're going to use that formula throughout this entire section. So it's just multiplying the length times the width. Let's find the area of this 5 by 15 rectangle. Well, you do 5 times 15 is 75. The units for area, when you have feet as length and feet as width, is square feet. So you can write it like feet squared like that, or you can write it out 75 square feet. That is the units for area. On this other one here on the right, we don't know what x is, or we don't know what the width is. So if we put x here, we still have to multiply it out and treat it just like we treat the variable. So what is the area? Well, it's 5 times x, which is 5x square feet. So we write it down here, 5x square feet. Even though we don't know what that exact amount is, we know that the area can be represented by that variable expression, 5x. So throughout this, we're going to have variables here, and we're just going to treat it, just follow the procedures of math operations that you know get you the area. And no, we don't get a specific number, but that is okay. For this next one, we know that the length is 4 and the width is x plus 3. So we're going to multiply those out. To multiply them, we're just going to distribute here. 4 times x and 4 times 3 gives us 4x plus 12. So it's 4x plus 12 square feet. That's not just 12 square feet, that's 4x square feet and 12 square feet. For this next one, we're going to multiply those out. So that's a binomial times a binomial, and you guys know how to do this. Let's distribute the x minus 4. Now let's distribute the x and distribute the 3 and combine like terms, so we get x squared minus x minus 12 square feet. It's okay that we don't have a specific number. That's an expression that represents the square footage or the area of that rectangle. If later in the problem they tell us or we find out what x is equal to, we can plug it into that expression and more quickly find the area. When there's more than one rectangle, we're just going to add those areas together. So you multiply to get each area, and then you're going to add them together, usually involving combining like terms. So, for example, if we had a 3 by 8 section, that'd be 24 square feet, and a 4 by 7 section would be 28 square feet. Add those two together, you get 52 square feet. Here on the right, there's another little trick that we use. Notice we know the dimensions of the rectangle on the left. 9 times 7, that's 63 square feet. But we don't know the dimensions, all the dimensions of the rectangle on the right, unless we do a little thinking. So since that's a rectangle, they're all rectangles there, we know that is 7 feet. We also know that that down there is 2 feet. So you put that together and you get a total of 9 feet. You can mark it on either side of the rectangle, but that rectangle is 9 feet wide, or tall, or long, and it's 5 feet wide. So we have 9 times 5 is 45. Now we just add them together. 63 plus 45 is 108 square feet. Let's use that same strategy, but when there's a variable where we don't know the lengths. So first of all, here we've got two binomials multiplied by each other. Let's just multiply that out. I'm going to do that quickly, and you get x squared plus 4x plus 4. On the right side, we're just going to distribute the 10. And so we have those two expressions, a trinomial and a binomial. That's the two areas, so we need to add those two together. Well, to add those two together, we just combine like terms. There's two like terms, both have x's. And there's two like terms, both of those are the constants. So let's add them all together. We get x squared plus 14x plus 34. On the right side here, Let's multiply those two out since we know the dimensions of the top left rectangle. Nice thing is we're going to learn about this. These are actually difference of squares. So you notice what happened. We have in the middle x minus x. That adds up to 0. So all I have to do is write down x squared minus 1. That's rather convenient. On the right side, well, that is x plus 1 because it's the other side of the same rectangle. And the bottom down there is 2. So we're going to add those two together, and the total length of that rectangle is x plus 3. So we need to multiply that length, x plus 3 times x minus 5. And we get this as we multiply it out, distribute, and distribute. Combine the middle two terms, and we get x squared minus 2x minus 25. So let's write those out side by side so we can identify and combine like terms. We have 2x squareds. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared. We also have a negative 1 and a negative 25, which combine, so we get 2x squared minus 2x minus 26. And it's a good idea when you're doing this to check off each of the ones as you go. So we checked off, yep. We used all the terms, so we are done. Let's now move on to our word problem. Miss Newman's farm consists of 2 pastures. Below are the dimensions. Below are the dimensions of the pastures in terms of feet. Now, there are 2 separate areas, so that they didn't really give us enough space on this to write it, so I'm going to write it on this big blank area over here on the right. So we have x plus 3 times x plus 3. That will give us 1 rectangle. And then we're also going to do x plus 5 times x plus 5. That will give us the other rectangle. In fact, these are more than rectangles. These are squares because their length and width are the same. So let's multiply that out. Did you guys notice you always get this pattern when you multiply a binomial by itself? Like the 2 binomials are the same. X squared plus 6x plus 9. And then on the right here, we're going to multiply that out. And you get x squared plus 10x plus 25. Now we need to combine like terms, so I see 2x squared, 6x plus 10x, and 9 plus 25. And we get 2x squared plus 16x plus 34. But what is the area of the pasture if x equals 8? Well, there's 2 ways to do this. One way is to take our final equation and plug in 8 there. You could actually type that expression directly into a calculator. I'm going to act as if I don't have a calculator and multiply it out, add it up, and we get 290 square feet. The other way you could do that is you could replace these x's up here with the 8. So you would get 8 plus 3 is 11 by 11. And then here you would get 13 by 13. And when you multiply those out and add them up, you will also get 290 square feet. Thank you very much for watching.